According to reports from multiple media outlets on December 11, on Wednesday, U.S. President Trump suddenly announced a bombshell: U.S. military forces had seized a giant oil tanker near Venezuela's coast. As for the 1.1 million barrels of crude oil on board, Trump stated that the U.S. would keep them. This move immediately triggered a war of words between the United States and Venezuela, infuriating Nicolas Maduro. The Venezuelan government issued a statement accusing the U.S. of committing an act of blatant robbery and international piracy. Venezuela's Interior Minister described the U.S. as murderers, thieves, and pirates. For his part, Maduro stated that Venezuela would defend its sovereignty, natural resources, and national dignity with absolute determination, and would condemn to the United Nations the illegal act of the U.S. brazenly seizing the country's oil tanker. According to reports, the Venezuelan oil tanker seized this time is named Capitan, with a deadweight tonnage of 310,000 tons. It is an ultra-large crude carrier and one of the largest active oil tankers in the world. The U.S. side alleges that this tanker belongs to Venezuela's shadow fleet and is suspected of participating in oil transactions between Venezuela and Iran, thus being subject to sanctions. Reports indicate that the seizure of the tanker was a joint operation by multiple U.S. departments. In the night of December 9, the U.S. Navy first intercepted the tanker in waters near Venezuela, then dispatched special forces to board the vessel and take control of it. The operation involved 2 helicopters, 10 U.S. military special forces personnel and Marines, and 10 Coast Guard members who rappelled from the helicopters onto the tanker's deck and quickly gained control of the crew afterward. After the U.S. seized Venezuela, a supertanker, international oil prices rose slightly immediately. The outside world is worried that this incident may well affect Venezuela's oil exports and could even signal that the U.S. will take more aggressive military actions against Venezuela. Just one day before the U.S. seized the Venezuelan anchor, on Tuesday, the U.S. Navy dispatched F-A-18 Super Hornet fighter jets which flew over airspace near Venezuela. During the flight, the jets once intruded into Venezuela's airspace and remained there for approximately 40 minutes. Most recently, the location was approximately 160 kilometers away from Maracaibo, Venezuela's second-largest city. Military analysts speculate that this was likely a probing operation by the U.S. military to test Venezuela's air defense system, paving the way for a large-scale airstrike that may be imminent. It is reported that since Trump ordered the launch of the military operation codenamed Southern Spear, the U.S. military has dispatched a large number of warships, aircraft, and Coast Guard vessels. Under the pretext of cracking down on drug-trafficking organizations, they have fired arbitrarily in the waters and airspace around Venezuela. So far, 23 ships have been sunk, resulting in 84 deaths. However, the Venezuelan side stated that many of the ships destroyed by the U.S. military are fishing boats, and those killed are innocent fishermen. Latin American countries in the region have also successively accused the U.S. of abusing military force. Nevertheless, the Trump administration still acts willfully. After seizing Venezuela's supertanker, U.S. Secretary of Defense Hicks revealed that Trump is considering taking more similar actions, i.e., seizing more Venezuelan anchors. He intends to use this method to disrupt Venezuela's oil exports, forcing Nicolas Maduro to make concessions. Reportedly, also on Wednesday, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro delivered a public speech, vowing that his country would never again become an oil colony of the United States. He also accused that the reason the U.S. is threatening to use force against Venezuela is to plunder the country's abundant oil resources. It is noted that Venezuela has the largest oil reserves in the world. Its proven reserves alone exceed 300 billion barrels. Although most of this oil is heavy oil, which is more difficult to extract and refine than the light crude oil in the Middle East, it is still an astonishing fortune. However, due to U.S. blockades and sanctions, Venezuela's oil industry has been shrinking continuously, with both production and exports dropping sharply, leading to a prolonged economic downturn in the country. According to reports, informed sources disclosed that Trump recently had a phone call with Maduro, demanding that Maduro step down immediately and the U.S. would ensure the safety of Maduro's family. However, the two sides failed to reach an agreement, and the call eventually ended on a sour note. Countries generally believe that Trump's true goal, as Maduro claimed, is to overthrow the Maduro regime, install a pro-U.S. regime in power, and then plunder Venezuela's rich oil resources. This is evident from the fact that the Nobel Peace Prize was awarded to Venezuela's opposition. This also means that if Maduro insists on not giving in, Trump may eventually decide to use military force, dispatching U.S. troops to achieve regime change in Venezuela. But this move is also a double-edged sword. If the operation proceeds smoothly, Trump will certainly gain huge benefits. However, if the invasion is hindered, the U.S. will once again be trapped in a quagmire of war. For the U.S., which is currently trying its forces to deal with China and Russia, this is by no means good news.